Hey everyone, today we're going to dig into a really cool idea, something that could completely flip how we think about farming. It's all about a system that turns the whole concept of agricultural waste on its head.
So let's start with this question, because it really challenges what a farm even is. For decades, we've kind of treated farms like factories. They're these linear systems where you pour resources in one end and get food and waste out the other. But what if a farm could act more like a forest, like a self-sustaining, circular ecosystem?
To really get the solution, you've got to understand the problem first. And this drawing here, it just captures the essence of conventional agriculture perfectly. It's a one-way street, right? You can see it all laid out. Water gets pumped in, chemicals are added, and everything just flows in this straight line from input to output.
Okay, so let's break down why this model, which once promised to feed the entire world, is now showing some really serious signs of strain. People are starting to question the very foundation of this whole system.
You see, the era that brought us these high-yield, chemical-heavy methods, what we call the Green Revolution, it was a total game changer. It absolutely saved millions of people from starvation. But all that amazing productivity, well, it's come with a pretty steep and often hidden price tag.
And the consequences are like this big chain reaction. Heavy use of chemical fertilizers literally strips the life out of the soil. All that irrigation is draining our groundwater reserves dry. We're replacing all this amazing crop diversity with these vulnerable single crops. And maybe the worst part, it often traps small farmers in this endless cycle of debt, totally dependent on buying all those expensive inputs.
So what's the alternative? Well, it requires a pretty radical shift in how we think. The answer is this. We need to stop treating a farm like a factory and start treating it like a natural ecosystem, like a forest.
And this comparison just nails it. On the left, you've got that factory system again. But on the right, that's the goal. That's the model we're aiming for, one that looks and acts like a natural ecosystem built on collaboration and recycling and, working together. And that brings us to the heart of this whole idea, the Integrated Farming System, or IFS for short. Now, this isn't about going backwards in time. It's actually about moving forward by being super clever, by blending the wisdom of traditional, age-old farming with the very best of modern science.
This quote really gets to the core of it all. The big, powerful idea is that the most productive, most resilient farm isn't one that's constantly fighting against nature, but one that actually copies its genius. It's about working with natural principles, not against them.
Okay, so the theory sounds great, but what does this actually look like on the ground? Let's get practical and see how you can build a real, functioning, self-sustaining system like this. It all starts by creating these simple, really elegant loops. Take a look at this classic example, a fish, duck, and rice system. You can see how each part is designed to directly support the others. It's a beautiful, closed nutrient cycle. And here's the foundational principle, the big aha moment. There is no such thing as waste. In this system, droppings from the ducks fall into the water, which feeds the fish and fertilizes the rice paddy. The fish, in turn, help control pests. It's this perfect, self-fertilizing loop. Genius, right? And from that simple loop, you can build out something much more complex, much more powerful. You can start integrating livestock, different kinds of crops, the family home, even an energy source like a biodigester. Every single element is connected to another. Let's just trace the flow here for a second, because this is fantastic. Okay, so manure from the livestock goes into a biodigester. That unit creates biogas, which can then be used as cooking fuel for the home. And the leftover slurry? That's now a super nutrient-rich organic manure, perfect for fertilizing crops or even feeding fish. It's a complete cycle where absolutely nothing is lost. Okay, this all sounds incredible, but the big question is always, does it actually work? Does it really produce? For that, we've got to look at the hard data from a 2024 study. So, some researchers in Maharashtra, India, set up a 1-hectare integrated farm. We're talking crops, dairy, poultry, the whole shebang, and they tracked its performance for a full season. And honestly, the results were stunning. So first, let's just get our heads around the sheer volume of stuff this tiny farm generated. In just one season, it produced over 22,000 kilograms of recyclable byproducts. To put that in perspective, that's like the weight of 4 adult elephants in potential fertilizer, compost, and animal feed. Now, of that massive potential, the system successfully recycled over 9,000 kilos right back into the farm as valuable inputs.
That's thousands and thousands of kilos of fertilizer and animal feed that the farmer didn't have to buy. Think about that.
And this number is the real test. The farm achieved what's called a sustainability yield index of 0.85. The best way to think about this index is as a score for how well a farm balances high productivity with its own long-term health and stability. A score of 1.0 would be a perfectly sustainable system. So at 0.85, this farm is performing at an incredibly high level of resilience.
So, what does this all mean for the bigger picture? Let's zoom out a little from the individual farm and see what the full potential of this approach really is.
This shows us that we're talking about more than just a new farming technique. It's a whole new vision for how we manage our resources. The central idea here is that you just can't separate economic security from ecological health. They're two sides of the very same coin. And the true power of an integrated farming system is that it's built on three pillars at the same time. You've got the ecological pillar, which is all about healing the environment. Then you've got the economic pillar, which provides a stable income. And finally, the social pillar, which strengthens rural communities. A truly sustainable system needs all three of those to stand strong.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this fundamental shift in design. We're moving away from that linear take, make, waste factory model, and we're moving toward the circular, regenerative model of an ecosystem. It's not about conquering nature anymore. It's about collaborating with it.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We've seen the proof that this works on a small scale. So the real question is, what if? Could millions of these small, self-sustaining farms actually change the way we feed the entire planet?